We looking far, we looking wide. For wide receiver options, it's for some of you, Garrett and some dudes. For others, you might have some love for AD, Mechie, or maybe a little something about Arian. But we are looking to take flight. And one of the best ways to do that is to take that top off the defense. We looking at wide receivers. We are live. It is Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, jet! Let's go! J-E-T-S, jet! Let's go! There you go, Wudi!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Wudi, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there,
Nice.
baby.
Boy Green.
It's Wudi. Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy James Wudi. You already know we are Wudi, rocking everywhere. Right over here. I don't know if you can see him, but his time is now. You can't see him. The champ. Let's go. Come on now. He is the boy who became king, rocking one of the best of all times, Mr. John Cena, and he is none other than Mr. Paul Esden Jr., rising above hate. It's everywhere. Also kind of like extremely well deserved, as your name is Aaron Glenn. So shout out to my guy Dave. Another day we arise to the disaster that is Aaron Glenn. That is nothing but facts. Shout out Take Flight Talk channel. My guy Michael, yes, you already know we out here. We rocking everywhere. Come on now. And CB Dub, our top guy, always showing love. I appreciate that screenshot might come into handy that you hit me with on Twitter. So we'll see if it does. But nothing but love. I love the energy. All right, 1 second into the show, everybody's here. Come on now. How you doing, Paul?
Well, Wudi, as Jim CBW posted there on Twitter, I am snowed in, Boy Green. We have about 2 feet of snow here, so it's cold as hell. But I love that your energy, Wudi, is spring break because you're saying, "Woo, let's take the tops off of defenses, baby."
Hey, yo.
The wide receivers. Hey, now you're bringing that spring break energy. I like it, Wudi. Way to get festive. Way to get feisty. That's terrific. So that's wonderful. So very creative. I love that. And I see this right off the top rope. I'll give a shout out to Easy, baby, who joined the Boy Green Espresso Club. Hey now. Which is 5 bonus raffle tickets to our contest. That is our new $5.99 YouTube membership group. So thank you, Easy, for joining in. We'll have our first ever YouTube live stream of just the Boy Green Espresso Club members right after Royal Rumble on Saturday, baby. So it'll be Saturday night around 8 or 9 o'clock. So looking forward to all the Boy Green Espresso Club members that'll be part of that. That'll be a lot of fun. So, but Wudi, we've got some business to get to. We're back to the old stomping grounds of the show of breaking down some key roster positions for the New York Jets before the new league year, and wide receiver is a big one.
Yeah, it truly is. It is one that I think we would all agree has not been great time. Garrett, kind of like a gem. He's been, a gem. Or if you want to think more internet, he's like that Ferrari, like that meme. We've all seen that meme of like the Ferrari, at that house.
Yeah.
Going into the year,
sure.
I feel like there are a lot of times where we did not feel that way. I will truly, as long as I live, never forget when some dude going into that first Rodgers year was trying to tell me that Garrett, Lazard, and Mecole Hardman was the best trio in the NFL. That's how you guys were
someone
feeling.
said that? Yikes.
Yeah, it was DMing me, threatening my life because I didn't agree. And Corey Davis, there are a couple guys, but we never really got, a duo or a trio since B. Marsh and Eric Decker, which was
100%.
A fantastic time to be alive.
Sure.
Fantastic time to have B. Marsh in fantasy. I had him that year, 2015.
Oh, yeah? Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Oh, my God. He wasn't even my first pick. Like, he was like, my third receiver. Like, no, like that year, and it wasn't obvious. Like that wasn't an obvious thing that he was.
But still, that ended up being your third receiver. Like that's good for you. That's the shock. I'm like, damn, because I'm gonna forever. I should get it probably tattooed somewhere on my body. I'm forever gonna remember Brandon Marshall's stats from that season. He had 109 catches, 1,502 yards, and 14 touchdowns. Those are the three best marks in Jets single season history. There's never been someone more catchers, never been someone more yards, and he tied for touchdowns. There's been a few. We've been very lucky, I guess, in that perspective. A couple of guys who got 14 touchdowns in Jets history, but he tied for the lead. So that was like the greatest single season ever. And for that to come somewhat randomly in 2015 was pretty cool. And to think that another random fun fact from that time, the Jets hadn't had a 1,000-yard receiver since Jericho Cotchery did it in 2007 until 2015. So there's like this massive gap of time. It's been a long time. And not only did they get one, they got two. Eric Decker also had 1,000 yards. So it hadn't happened forever. Then boom, 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 two. And it was like, whoa, holy bleep. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, I'll remember that year forever. Unfortunately, it ended terribly, of course. And I did get to go to that Week 16 Jets Patriots overtime win at MetLife Stadium. I was there. And I tell this story all the time that before the game, it looked like the Jets needed help to like even be in the playoff conversation that season. And they did. In the middle of the game, they showed up on the Jumbotron at MetLife Stadium. The Steelers got upset by, I believe it was the Ravens. And then it flashed on the screen. If the Jets win this game against the Patriots, next week it's win and you're in. And there was like a palpable energy immediately. We were already pretty fired up because it was this back and forth game. But like all of a sudden, like we realized, oh my God, if we beat this Patriots team right now, next week, it's a playoff game to get into the playoff. So all of a sudden the energy changed. And of course, Ryan Fitzpatrick hits Eric Decker in the back right corner of the end zone. Bill Belichick wins the toss and decides to kick. And we're like, that's disrespectful. And that was back in the day before you both got a possession. So, oh my God, it was crazy, crazy, crazy. Never forget that for the rest of my life. We all know what happened the next week, but in that moment in time, and I got to be on the field before the game. Oh, that was just, amazing. Nostalgia, baby.
Definitely a time to be alive. Believe it or not, we've actually had two 1,000-yard receivers in the same season since.
Oh,
yeah, just last year actually.
Wait,
but
for who?
Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. Were you in a?
Well, yeah, that wasn't.
What?
I thought you're talking last season. That's 2025 to me. That's not.
Oh, okay, my bad. Two. Okay, all right. If you want to,
because that's why I went. What? I'm like Garrett had like 395. What are we talking about? So no. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, So sorry, my bad. 2 seasons ago. Yep. Garrett and Devontae. Season wasn't as fun to watch. But still, nonetheless, they did accomplish the feat. One of 5 teams that season to accomplish that feat. Let's see, the next time. I won't harp on this.
Okay.
There's already accusations of me being. I've been pretty chip. We talking about spring break. We talking about but somehow, some way, I'm negative. I got a frown on today. I don't know what y'all are seeing.
Okay. Well, let's get into this, Wudi. First off, so let's reveal the receivers who are set to leave the Jets. and then we'll see where the receivers are currently, and then we can sort of build it out from there.
Okay.
So departing receivers. I'll throw this up on your screen. So these are the receivers that are set to leave. Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson. Those are unrestricted free agents. Veterans are about to walk out the door. The next two RFAs are restricted free agents. John Mechie and Irv Charles. Irv Charles didn't play at all last year. We thought he tore his ACL not this past December, the December before that. And we all said, I don't know when he's going to come back. Boop. Never did. So he is set to be a restricted free agent. So here's how it works, folks, out in the audience. The Jets can put a variety of – so if the Jets don't tender either of these two players at all, they just become unrestricted free agents. So it's up to the Jets to decide what happens here. So these are the tender options that are on the table. A first-round tender, a second-round tender, an original tender, a right of first refusal tender. Those are the choices they could pick. So for the first, second round tender or original tender, if the Jets place those tenders, I'm going to be thinking about chicken tenders this entire time. But if they choose to use any of those tenders, like for instance, this is not going to happen. But if the Jets placed a first round tender on John Mechie and another team signed him, the Jets would get a first round pick. Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? Of course, that's not going to happen. And plus, the reason why you also want to be a little dicey about using a first round tender is obviously the higher the tender, the more the money you owe the player. So you have to pay that player more, and actually have the numbers in front of me. If the Jets placed a first round tender on anyone, it'd be $7.83 million. So that's very expensive. A second round tender is $5.6 million. A right of first refusal is $3.4 million, which means they could tender him and they could sign an offer sheet with any team, and the Jets would have the chance to match. If they match, that player stays. If they don't, that player leaves, and you don't get any compensation for that unless it was a rounded tender thing. So long story short, I don't think Irv Charles gets tendered, with all due respect. I think he gets straight up free agency, because I don't think the Jets want to pay $3 million and change for Irv Charles. Maybe they could bring him back and agree to a different deal. That's possible. And John Mechie, I'm going to be honest, Wudi, I'm a little bit on the fence whether they give him $3.4 million, which would be the restricted free agent tender amount at the minimum price. That's still an interesting price. I'm not sure if they pay it. What say you on John Mechie? Would you bring him back for like $3 million and change?
I would.
Okay.
I would. I mean, I'm not going to be upset, if they don't.
Right.
And I think that's, what you mean by being on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he was decent in his role.
Yeah.
And we can assume his role is most likely going to decrease, but that might be where you're talking about the money thing. But me, I'm not too worried about $3 million in the bucket of 95. I'm not worried about that. So I would have met. He's somebody who can catch, even though he was having some issues from getting.
Very much so. Right.
But he had some good games. So I would keep him. You need like 6-7 in the room. And right now, as you're gonna, we're literally going through right now. I don't think we have that. So, Mechie being capable, let's have him be one of the 6.
I don't know how often we ever agree. You could probably count that on one hand, but I think we're really in the same bucket here. Like, the Jets need receiver help, obviously, as we're going to get into the show about who are some sexy names they could sign, trade for, all this other stuff. If John Mechie was on this team, cool. If he's not, cool. But as Mark Shachetti put out here in the comment section, let me throw this up real quick. Wide receivers are expensive in this market, which could say, whatever John Mechie is, to find another version of John Mechie may be more expensive in free agency. So maybe just keep John Mechie in that particular case. So again, you could push or shove me in either direction on John Mechie. So we're the same there. But Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, we're both saying, here's your cardboard box, get your shit and get the hell out of here.
Bro, they shouldn't have even been on the team in the first place. So
see ya. All right, so these are these are all the receivers that, again, could walk out the door, that are scheduled to walk out the door in some form or fashion. So, again, me and Wudi are sort of there, which leaves us with this. These are your eligible bachelors for the current Jets wide receiver room in no particular order. Garrett Wilson, Adonai Mitchell, Arian Smith, Isaiah Williams, Quentin Skinner, Mac Delana, and Jamal Pritchett. So Delana is on a future reserve contract. Quentin Skinner ended the season on the 53-man roster. So all these people on your screen are under contract for the Jets for this upcoming season. Of course, at any point that can change. They can cut people. They can do whatever they want. But I anticipate this is a group at this point pre-free agency, Wudi. And Garrett Wilson's obviously a superstar. You're higher than me than Adonai Mitchell, but I don't hate Adonai Mitchell. And we'll get into it when we talk about free agency and other options for the Jets. I don't have him as a bona fide number 2, and I want him to earn number 3. If he's at 4, I want him to earn 3. But I'm excited about his potential. Arian Smith, I mean, maybe a new offensive coaching staff is going to find something for him, but he feels like a gunner that will have trouble making this roster. Isaiah Williams, love. He's going to be all the way back there, wide receiver 6'5", whatever, which is fine. It could capably step up if needed or called upon, and he's going to be a dynamic returner. Quentin Skinner, with all due respect, I love Skinner, and again, I will forever love his contributions to that cool Justin Fields deep dive story I got to do for Heavy. Thank you to Quentin Skinner for doing an interview with me, but I don't know if he makes a team. Mac Delana, pass the biscuits. Jamal Pritchett is your mama's favorite practice squad Jets receiver, so that's probably where he's going to end up. So go ahead, wax your poetics here about Adonai Mitchell and anything else we missed here in this conversation, Wudi.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think that the first 4 names aren't Jets. Now, the way AG treating his staff, it may be easier to see, like Arian Smith, like if he does not step up, he could be on the bubble. And that's, crazy to say because, he was just drafted last year. Same regime. Well, it's not even the same regime. It's actually not. You're the same head coach. Darren Muji is there, but now you have a different offensive coordinator evaluating him. And if the new offensive coordinator comes in and is like, you guys made a mistake last year. AG, gonna do what he keeps doing and just send him his merry way. So I would actually retract my own statement that I just made seconds ago and say the 3 of Garrett, AD, and Isaiah, those are pretty much locks to make the team this year. Isaiah, everything you said, right? He's going to be, wide receiver 6 on the depth chart. But we already saw him make plays, actually, and get first downs. So I would expect more of that. AD, like you said, I am high on. Do I think he is the current wide receiver 2 of this team? De facto, yes, actually.
I was just about to say, I agree. Yes.
But should he be in September?
Right.
I was more willing to say yes with based on what I knew from Tanner Engstrand, his scheme, what he was drawing up, and how I was seeing guys get open. I was thinking you got a possession type guy in huge catch radius, and then AD can take the top off the defense, which we already saw against New England. He dropped it, but then against Atlanta, he caught it. So we've already been seeing the glimpses of that. Again, new OC, I don't know what's going on. So you might want a more consistent, more well-rounded receiver. Still, the way he's young, he's developing, and his raw skill set, I really think it would benefit this team to keep him in the top 3. So, that's where I'm at with AD. So I'm thinking Garrett, somebody, AD, and then we already said Isaiah and our guy Mechie, kind of in the room. So that would leave room for 2 additions to the room. If we're taking 6, some take 7. So, we're looking at 2 or 3 additions via free agency in the draft.
I see there's a lot of the same question here, so I want to just bring this up because it It made me laugh. Boss girl, who the fuck is Mac Delay?
Damn, Mac. They play you, boy. They play you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I've seen Donald Johnson who says Mac. I don't know who he is. Who the fuck is he? Magdalena is someone at the end of you guys will see this for every NFL team once their seasons are over. Not for the Patriots or Seahawks who remain alive, but after their season ends, they sort of round out the roster. You're allowed to have 90 players on the roster. So you sign a bunch of guys to reserve future contracts. Sometimes those are players from your practice squad. Sometimes those are just street free agents and you just pluck a few, use your scouting staff. And Magdalena is one of those. So he was a rookie this past season, 24 years of age, Fresno State, 5'10", 176 pounds, spent some time with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he shook free. Some in the audience are Magdalena fans, so salute to Jet Jar.
Yeah.
There's Jets Johnny.
Johnny, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Jets Johnny is who I meant. Yeah, he says Magdalena is a stud. There's a lot of people who loved him coming out of college. Well, I don't want to say a lot of people. I don't want to overrate it. Yeah, some people liked him coming out of college and like him. So again, he'll have his chance, I imagine, in training camp and those sort of things. So we'll see what they do, but he won't be counted upon, of course, for any meaningful stuff there. So that's your room as it's constructed right now. We'll try to do this for every show, the quarterback show, the running back show, all the shows, and break it down. Hey, here's who's set to leave. Here's a few thoughts on it. Here's who is there right now. And then let's get to other options. So I want to throw this question at you, Woodster, as we'll leave the current Jets wide receiver room up right here. Okay. So Daniel Jeremiah, I love Daniel Jeremiah, DJ, longtime scout, and now he's at the NFL Network as the main draft guy of draft knowledge. He dropped his top 50 big board, and I had this ready for Tuesday, but now we're here on Thursday, just in case of breaking news ever happening here on the show, which we could get an offensive coordinator hire here at any second. So Daniel Jeremiah in his top 50. Do you know how many receivers are in the top 50, Woody, that he had on his list?
Clue, actually. I can guess for the sake of it.
Yeah, guess. I love the guessing games. Go on now. How many receivers? I do. How many receivers do you think he has in his top 50?
Let's go with 8.
He has 11 in his top 50. Damn, and here are the 11. And I could give the order too, I suppose. So Mekhi Lemon is his number one receiver. He has the 7th best player in this class. That's at it. Yes, he's the USC wide receiver. So I'll give you guys all the schools and everything. At 9 on his big board is Ohio State wide receiver Carnell Tate. At 15 is Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson. At 20 is Washington wide receiver Denzel Boston. At 32 is Texas A&M wide receiver Casey Concepcion. At 36 is Clemson wide receiver Antonio Williams. At 44 is Tennessee wide receiver Chris Brazzell II. At 45 is Notre Damer Malachi Fields. At 46 is Oklahoma wide receiver Deion Burks. At 48 is Georgia wide receiver Zachariah Branch. Hey, Arian Smith, shout out. Maybe we'll get one of your teammates. And then Louisville wide receiver Chris Bell is at 50. So there's 11 in the top 50. I'm curious, Woody, I want to throw this out to you as sort of a grandiose philosophical question. Okay. There's 11 in the top 50. You could go down 2 paths. One, well, we better get our receiver while we can and try to attempt to get one of the best of the groups, because technically with the 2nd overall pick, the Jets receivers not go number 1, so they could have their pick of the litter of any wide receiver they'd want if they feel that strongly about it. Or if the depth is as it reads on the sheet, it's Daniel Jeremiah. It's one guy, but I really trust Daniel Jeremiah. He has 11 guys in the top 50. Does that say, hey, man, whoa, we could wait forever? There's a bunch of talented guys in this class. Do you preach attack the position and get your guy that you prefer, or wait for the depth because there appears to be so many in the top 50? Where do you lean philosophically?
I mean, if the draft was only about wide receivers, we'd be talking about something. If the Jets, let me just make this statement right now. The Jets draft a receiver 2nd overall, I might have to talk to Luigi and then Gioni, man. That would be a huge blunder in my mistake, in my opinion, because do we see the defense? Now we got to help out our boy Dookie. All right, he out here learning a position for the first time. And I know he most likely won't be calling the plays, but I already put up, the AG resume of calling plays. So we need talent on that side of the ball. Personally, I wouldn't even draft a receiver in the first round. So I guess philosophically wise, you can take that answer for what it is. But in a general sense, I do like going at the top. Like for example, was that just last season where they were saying it was a defensive tackle, one of the best defensive tackle drafts
They did.
Yes. in NFL history. Like I wanted Mason Graham. Like I wanted to get the best of the depth. So that's what I generally do if I am attacking a position, a deep position. But the issue here is that for me, wide receiver is not in my top 4 positions of need. I would rather have Arvell Reese than any. I have Ruben Bain than any wide receiver. There's a lot of guys that I'm, looking at that do not play receiver.
Fair enough. I was just sort of curious because I've heard people sort of preach it both ways. So I'm just interested to hear how people feel about when positions are deep. Do you attack the top and get your guy, or rely on the depth and say, these guys are the defensive tackle thing is great from last year. Man, there's so many. Just throw a dart, maybe grab a couple in the mid round, pick multiple, and they took none. Which hey, different strokes, different folks. Super chat coming in. Love these. Dan the Jets fan 21.
Wow.
Should the Jets shop the number 2 overall pick, which could be the number 1 overall pick of all the non-quarterbacks? Because Fernando Mendoza, of course, is expected to go number 1 overall. So if the Jets gave this pick away or had it themselves, they'd have their pick of the litter of any other position, number 1, outside of quarterback. So that could be valuable to a certain team. Should the Jets shop this pick? James Wudi.
Definitely is my answer. Definitely let find out what the value is. If there's any chance, and Dan, he followed up on this saying that, he wants an additional first for next year. If there is any chance that someone is willing to give that up for the 2nd overall, for Arvell Reese, for Ruben Bain, bro, I feel like you got to pull that trigger, man. You got to pull that trigger, secure that 4th first round pick. That's a I know, we already got 3, but like 4 and potentially, God willing, a new coach.
Come on.
Like, that. Give this man Kevin O'Connell 4 first overall picks. First 4 first round picks. Give Kevin O'Connell, give Mike Tomlin. There's another name, Sean McDermott. Give one of those guys. And we'll be cooking. But I don't think that's going to happen. You might, get another, even if you get another first round pick this year, right? You move down like 4 spots and, you secure like, 1 in the 20s. I think that's still good because you can still end up with a game changer like Caleb Downs.
Sure.
So it definitely does not hurt to shop. It does not hurt to shop. You got to know what's on the other side. So I would say definitely no hesitation.
Yeah, because, you just have to sort of, Dan, the Jets fan, by the way, I appreciate the question. You have to assess the question. Should the Jets, this is a Jets question, should they shop it? Not will someone buy it. Will they shop it? Yeah, yes, the Jets should shop. They'd not, Darren Muji and company would not be doing their job if they didn't attempt to shop the pick, even if they have no intentions of doing it, right? Let's say they're in love with Arvell Reese like you are, or Ruben Bain, or any of that. You sit and pick, but why not gauge the market? You don't know if someone's crazy. Dan, to your point, followed up by saying, hey, if we could stay inside the top 7, pick up a 1 next year, and we're sort of doing the science of it, of trying to get the right pick combination and things of that nature. At 6, there's going to be one of any of these players, right? Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, Caleb Downs, like what any of the receivers you love. Like there is an infinite amount of positions the Jets need that if you drop back, you can still get one of those and future assets. Good. We need as many lottery tickets as humanly possible here. Now, will someone be willing to buy? Well, to your point, Wudi, that trade you floated out in your mind of 2 firsts this year would be Cleveland. They're at 6 and they pick in the 20s from Jacksonville. Is that the combination? The way that happens is if Cleveland falls in love with a quarterback, which I would assume is Ty Simpson, but I don't know who else would be in that conversation. But if they fell in love with him and Cleveland's willing to move up for a quarterback, the price is higher. Arizona and Cleveland get in a bidding war. Oh, we want Ty Simpson. No, we want Ty Simpson. And if you're the Jets, you have to ask yourself two questions. One, like, if we're trading this to them for Ty Simpson, we better make sure Ty Simpson shouldn't be our pick. Because if we trade the pick, and even if we get a haul and that quarterback's a home run, the Jets look like idiots because they are in a hell of trying to find a quarterback. So you got to make sure if you trade that pick and it's like a quarterback, that you're right that he's not a hit. So that's something to consider. But so Cleveland would make sense. We'll see if anyone considers it that high, because if a quarterback's not going there, then does someone want Ruben Bain that bad? Does someone want Arvell Reese that bad? We saw it last year with Travis Hunter, but that felt very unique. His whole story felt unique that there was such a massive call up to demand to trade up for that position. So we'll see if it happens. But from a Jets perspective, Dan, the Jets fan, absolutely, the Jets should shop it. And again, 2027 is apparently supposed to be this immensely deep class from that perspective. Oh, there's a preach Wudi in here. What the hell is going on here? All right.
Wow.
Mac Attack, $2 super chat. Thank you. Preach, Wudi. Draft all defense, but I want that receiver at 16. Okay, there you go. Wudi, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, definitely draft as much defense as you can. The only, if they do this, right, they draft all defense besides wide receiver at 16. It's fine. The only thing is that, like, we don't have like a quarterback right now.
Right.
Like, I would love for next year, we're drafting that quarterback, and then we're getting Boss Girl said it earlier, like Jeremiah Smith. There's gonna be top dogs in next year's class. So I would love to, in that same class, get a top receiver and a top QB. And you got the old dog Garrett Wilson. And we all they're growing together like that. I feel like chemistry wise, development wise is perfect. Whereas getting a receiver now, he gonna have a new staff year 2, so it's not a big, and I guess everyone is gonna have a new staff year 2, but it's just, based on what I just said about the chemistry, I'd rather still go defense at 16. Sonny Styles, if we don't get,
I hope he's there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if he's I'm still thinking about defense. But I appreciate the love, the respect. I know y'all, so obsessed with Aaron Glenn, you can't see, the whole vision. But yeah, I'm out here spitting facts.
Yeah, again, this is the same thing we talked about earlier, that you can push me either direction. The Jets just have so many needs that if you said, Paul, we need to go defense, all right. Paul, we need to go offense, all right. Paul, we need to go special teams, okay. We need everything. So yes, I'd be all for wherever they go. There's just there's such a talent discrepancy that they need to fill some stuff. I am intrigued at wide receiver at 16. Depends where that wide receiver run is, though, of where you fit, and we'll talk about that on the show as well. I'll throw this one up real quick, and then we'll get back into the wide receivers. I see Keep It Simple RC says, BG, would you trade Will McDonald to the Titans? We talked about this. I do a Jake Asman interview every week on the MC Show digital show. So this might be a week or 2 weeks ago. But we talked about solid to the Titans and what that could mean. I think that pipeline of potential trades is open for, and again, I'm not saying I want to do these things yet, and I'll answer your question, but Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Jamian Sherwood, like those are 3 classic Saleh guys, Sherwood specifically, that he drafted him as a day 3 guy and developed him into a thing. And then he stunk last year. And Saleh going, yeah, he sucks in New York without my scheme, but let's bring him on down here to Tennessee. And a trade is struck where the Jets get out of the deal and say, this just didn't work here. And then he would be great in Tennessee with Saleh. But to your point, you were asking about Will McDonald. Would I do it? The Jets have to make a decision on his 5th-year option by May. That's $15 million fully guaranteed. My preference would be, and again, now we have Brian Duker in here, which means that AG is going to be running a scheme. which then means does AG view Will McDonald in the role that I see him in, that I want another defensive end added so Will kicks to third and he's primary pass rusher. That's what I want to maximize Will. So I would prefer, he has so much talent, obviously. He has like just under 30 sacks in his career in such a very short amount of time. Like he's stupid productive. But I would try to not trade that away. But if the Jets don't value him at that $15 million number, which would not be for this upcoming season, the following year, if they traded him, I would understand trading him. But it would suck because I like Will McDonald a lot. But I think to maximize Will McDonald, you need that second defensive end to put Will back in a proper role. I think we relied on Will McDonald too much, if I'm being candid. Wudi, what's your thoughts on this, if you have any to share before we get back to wide receivers?
Wouldn't even blink twice. Get this dude off my team, yo. Get this dude off my team.
Okay, wow.
All right, yeah, to the Titans, if Salah wants him, to anybody, to Goodwill, get this dude off my team.
Okay,
15 mil is too much. Too much. For a very inconsistent, not even good player. You guys, let's keep training our best players. Yeah, I'm not sure if Will McDonald classifies. Shout out to JSN, who I thought was going to be the pick. I originally thought it was going to be Broderick Jones, and then Bill Belichick, traded that to the Steelers, and they picked up Broderick Jones. So I said, "Oh, okay, it's JSN." And then they took 9 minutes and 56 seconds of a 10-minute clock to select this bum out of Iowa State. And it's not JSN. If you guys are curious to know, well, who is this JSN that Wudi keeps talking about? Because you guys only watch Jets, you have no idea. Watch the Super Bowl. You might see JSN.
By the way, I hope I see him a lot as someone who hopes the other team loses. So yes, that would be excellent.
You're gonna see him at least 8 times.
Oh, great. I hope it's double digit. Let's go to Lou B, Super Jets fan, baby.
Wow.
I want to trade 16 and 44 and go up and get a stud. Well, Lou B, luckily, math nerd boy Green over here has the draft value chart, baby, and he can explain how high the Jets can get up. So, Lou B, let me add that to your Super Chat total, my friend, and that brings you to a wonderful 19 raffle tickets so far this month. So, Lou B, here it is. All right, Wudi, here we go. So if the Jets combine 16, which is their second first-round pick, that's from the Colts trade with Sauce Gardner, okay, and then 44, who they got from the Dallas Cowboys in the Quinnen Williams trade, if you combine that second-round pick and the Jets' second first-round pick, and you put those two together, fusion, huh? That adds up to 1,460 draft points, which equates to between a 7th and 8th overall pick. That would be a potential trade-up with the Washington Commanders or the New Orleans Saints. That's how high the Jets could go if we go draft value chart. So if you move up to 7 or 8, maybe the Jets could get your boy Sonny Styles. Maybe it's Jeremiah Love, the Notre Dame running back, who I know Lou B loves. So all of a sudden, we jump into a different stratosphere of players. What if Caleb Downs drops? And all of a sudden, you get like Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs. Or you go Reuben Bain and Caleb Downs. All of a sudden, we're getting a couple of game-changing players. You could go running back, could go wide receiver potentially. You could see that come into play. A Jeremiah Love potentially. Wide receiver, pass rusher, interior play. Maybe a safety. Oh, what about a corner? Mansour Delaney. Okay, let's get some corner action happening there. What would you do, Wudi, if you had a second top 10 pick for the Jets?
I can't lie. I don't think I would make this move.
Okay, all right.
Sorry,
Lou B. Sorry.
Hey, no. I got nothing but love for Lou B. That's my guy.
Sure.
Literally my absolute one of my favorite human beings walking the planet. But the Jets, like, we need people like, you guys, and that's what the AG truthers out there. That's, who's he have to work with? He got practice squad players. He got all this nonsense. The cupboard is bare. So let's fill it up. We need more people. 16 and 44, you can still get franchise changers, at 16 and 44. I don't think you need to package it to get another top 10, especially in a draft where, we're talking about names that, like you said, Sonny Styles at 8, but he could be there, at 16. Like, we don't even know how it's going to shape up. So I personally would keep 16 and 44, and you can still get game changers at those. Would you would do this?
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me that follow-up question. I was just going to sneak into the night of like, oh, very good thoughts. But then you asked me. There is, of course, something intriguing with come away with 2 top 10 players, just boom, boom. And just you have these, in theory, these franchise cornerstone players that hopefully keep positions of need. But if you take a step back at 4 picks in top 44, I've always said this. First and second round and even third round are premium picks. These are guys that are starters or at the very least very key contributors. And the Jets need a lot. So to sacrifice 2 for 1, it depends on who if you got to tell me who the player is. I don't want to just like I wouldn't do this on March 5th. I wouldn't just move up to 7 and say, I'm sure someone's going to be there. Like it would have to be a targeted approach. I love Jeremiah Love. I love Caleb Downs. I'm like, Sonny Styles. I love them so much. I got to move up. I got to hit. I just love this guy. This guy's going to be a superstar. I'm going to move up for him. My gut right now, Wudi, is I'd stay. I'd stay. You know, we're playing a little blackjack. I'm going to stay. Austin Power style. I'm going to stay. Are you sure, sir? Yeah, I'm going to stay. Danger's my middle name. Yeah, so this I stay here.
He offered some duos.
Okay.
He said Arvell Reese and Tyson, Jordan Tyson. We got Tate and Love, right? I'm assuming that's Jeremiah Love and Carnell Tate.
Yeah,
that would be an offensive, and that's definitely an offensive.
That'd be aggressive.
Kind of adrenaline. Bain and Downs, which would be a huge defensive.
Shot
of adrenaline.
A lot of directions.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely some nice duos. But for me, you know, I'm not gonna lie, Bain and Downs would be fantastic.
But then for what?
But then you get into that second round and it's like, damn, I wish I had, more juice. Yeah, because I would love to get a defensive tackle.
Sure.
You guys probably disagree about corner, but I would get one of those too.
No, I don't disagree at all. We definitely need some corner love.
Well, I know y'all hyping up Brown Lee, like I don't even know. So
hey, by the way, real quick, we got 300 people in the room, so show some love, baby, to the audience. Like the video if you're watching on YouTube. Hit subscribe, whether that's on the Boy Green channel or the Take Flight Talk channel. We appreciate you guys. Again, we're going to be doing a bunch of these shows. Me and Wudi link up every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock, and we're going to be doing these positional analysis for the Jets. Who are the players that are set to leave? Here are the players that are here. Draft, free agency talk, options, and things of that nature. And keeping that thought in mind, Wudi, let's get into some free agent / trade opportunities here for the New York Jets. The free agent pool has names like Mike Evans and George Pickens, but to me, I think tag you're it. I don't think George Pickens hit the open market. And to be honest, even if he did, no shame on the Pickens game. I mean, I had him in fantasy this year. Thank you, Georgie. I love you, Georgie. Yeah, very nice. However, seems to be some extra baggage. You're going to have to pay for a carry-on. I'm not sure about that one. So, George, with all due respect, for those reasons, I'm out. I'm going to probably draft you again in fantasy because I'm sure you'll be awesome on Dallas, but I don't think I want to make that kind of aggressive move. I think that could be toxic with Garrett Wilson. I don't love that, but I think he's super talented. Mike Evans, to be honest, I think he's staying in Tampa, and if he doesn't stay in Tampa, he's going to a contender. And with all due respect to our own Jets here, I just don't think they're currently swimming in those waters or projected to swim in those waters. So I don't think Mike Evans is coming. So like some of those top options in free agency, then all of a sudden you go from like
you thought those were the two. You would say that those were the two
perceived top 2 in terms of free agents. Yeah, that would be my perception of who I think are the top 2 available wide receivers to hit the market that I wouldn't have interest in because I don't think they would have interest in us as another reason. But no, do you have other names? Please lay them on me.
Well, the two, or really the one name that I had really thought was interesting. Okay. Which is so funny because when we talked about running backs, I isolated his teammate because they're both young and should be productive for the next few years.
Sure.
And he is just playing himself out of contention. I'm probably going to earn is Rashid Shaheed was actually fantastic on the Saints. He's only 27. I mean, like, Mike Evans, is obviously fantastic. He has a name, but he's also like old as dirt. Like he's,
no, Jesus,
Keenan Allen type, we really only there to say, oh, wow. Like, he caught his 1000th pass. Like, I feel like we just looking at milestones for Evans and like a Keenan Allen. Whereas you have a future with Shaheed. Also, the dude that Spot Track gives the highest market value to, which I'm kind of shocked to see it, is Jawan Jennings.
What the?
Yeah, I mean, Spot Track.
Hey, wait. Before we go to Jawan, I just want to make sure while we're still on Rashid Shaheed real quick so my devil's advocate is this. So number one, I think he complements Garrett perfectly. That elite speed, vertical shots down the field. I think it's a beautiful compliment to Garrett. Here's my only challenge flag to you, and feel free to combat it. It's like, so he's an awesome returner, obviously, but we got Isaiah Williams. So sure, you can never have enough good returners, so you could have both of them back there, and that's super dangerous. But does that take away at all from the attractiveness? Is that like we already sort of have a guy? And again, if you guys don't want to compare Isaiah Williams to Shaheed, that's on your own accord. But like it takes away a little bit of the sizzle. If we had no one, it's boom. He fills both roles. But with Isaiah already here, even though he's a nice compliment to Garrett, does that at all affect the conversation for you?
For me, nah. I mean, what are you talking about? Shaheed, he has a developed route tree. Mm-hmm. They weren't even like using him like that in New Orleans until later. Mm-hmm. But he was still with Derek Carr taking the top off of defenses, So as a receiver, I don't think there's a comparison. And then to your point, as a returner, now it's like, you got a double whammy. I mean, I love Kane. That's my guy, but that's just, an embarrassment of riches, which is what good teams have. So I definitely, but he's playing so well in the playoffs that, like when I first said it, I was like, is he really worth, a $10 million, contract? But now
he might even get more than that.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. And Spot Track, I think it's changed his number because I believe it was 10. Now they're talking about 14. But 22 is going to, it's projected on Jawan Jennings.
I don't love that.
Who another, guy who is not turning 30 for a little bit.
Okay.
Not really super. I feel like, these Shanahan guys, you can't really trust them. You can't trust them. You give them all this money, and then they turned out just being regular people that were propped up by the great Kyle Shanahan. That's another reason why every single time one of you guys mention Mac Jones, I throw up in my mouth. But I think they deserve just as much love and recognition, those two guys, as whoever you said before, Mike Evans and George Pickens. And a special shout out to a name that I had thought of 0 times until Boss Girl said it in the comments. And that's because his name is so far down on this list because it's by, their average salary this year.
Correct.
Is Romeo Doubs.
Yes, of course. Yes, he's on the list. Yeah, here's a name I was about to bring up. Yeah.
Actually, damn, now I'm looking at Wan'Dale Robinson is also a pretty
good. Yeah, there's some other names we're going to bring up here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let me stop.
No. We're having an open dialogue here. So no, Romeo. Let me rephrase. Like, I'm not saying Mike Evans and George Pickens would be the top 2 names on my list. I just mean in a generic list of people we're talking about the best receivers. Yeah, I'm not saying that's who I want or that's who the Jets should want. I'm just throwing names out there. But yes, Romeo Doubs is on that list, which would be intriguing, of course. I think a lot of Jet fans are going to want him. Obviously, people are going to bring up Alec Pierce of the Colts. I think he's going to get really overpaid. And it's the nature of the beast, man. All these guys are probably going to get overpaid. A guy that intrigues me, he's super young, is Wan'Dale Robinson from the Giants. He's a super young guy. He's coming off a career year. The quarterback play obviously was super inconsistent last year, although coming from my glass house of the Jets, I guess things look a little more consistent in different parts of town. So Wan'Dale Robinson is super intriguing to me for sure. He's on the list of guys. Juwan Jennings, just his broken glass ass. I'm not sure if I want to dip my toes in those waters, with all due respect.
Well, definitely not the money. I would never. I wouldn't pay anything close to what they're saying.
Yeah, for those reasons, I'm definitely out. People have mentioned Christian Kirk. He's about to be, and he's just had sort of a wild journey where we're like, oh, underrated in Arizona. Oh, wow, overpaid in Jacksonville. Oh, wait, now he's on Houston. So it's just been woo, woo, woo. So I'm not really sure. He's probably going to like, a team, win now team and things of that nature. I've heard contending teams are going to be circling the wagons for Christian Kirk, but obviously he'd be on the list. And if what you just said about, some of these former Shanahan guys, I'm not sure how you're going to feel about the Deebo Samuels of the world. And Brandon Ayuk is going to get cut. I mean, John Lynch was very clear about that. He's played his final snap. But I don't think I need a receiver driving 100 miles an hour and doing all the drama that's around Brandon Ayuk. I think not for that conversation, but he's a guy who could hit. I don't want anything to do with this guy, but I'm just throwing this name out there because he's going to get cut too. Tyreek Hill. He could go to the Chargers and reunite with Mike McDaniel. He could go back to the Chiefs. I mean, there's a lot of ways he could go.
If Reek, for some reason, wanted to be a Jet, you wouldn't want Tyreek Hill. That's a crazy statement.
Well, I mean, okay. So here's we had a philosophical question earlier. Let's go with an ethical question, Wudi. If people do stuff off color off the field, does that at all bother you in your rooting interest?
Damn. This is a loaded question, Boy Green.
Probably is, sure.
For me, we blame football. Like I definitely do not research these. There's 53 people on a football field.
Okay.
I don't know what anybody's favorite color is. I don't know, what people be doing in their off time. Like I know. Y'all eat up that social media stuff, like where, they ask like questions or, do all that, like the Jets, right? Always doing stuff like that. Well, I don't even pay attention to those because what I'm trying to do is win football games. So that is what I consider when I consider someone being on the squad is this person going to help the team that I love win football games?
So, Wudi, you don't have to feel like you have to go wash your hands after this show or go take a shower. I will say as well, and this is going to be unpopular, I'm sure. And people are going to take this a lot of ways. I don't think I've shared some of this on the show before, but I'm just going to. I'm a very simple man. Okay? Very simple. I root for my green team. The gods, however it happened, I'm a Jets fan, and I've been a Jets fan for a long time. I root for the Jets. How do you say this? There are times in history, the Jets, right? They were heavily involved in the Deshaun Watson rumors. They were heavily involved in the Tyreek Hill rumors. Tyreek Hill was this close to being a Jet.
I remember that day. I was at the dentist. It was a crazy day.
My desk wasn't here. It was turned sideways and it was here at my old office. And I'm sitting, I'm typing something, and I see the tweet from Ian Rappaport that says 2 tweets come out. One, Tyreek Hill could be moved. And I go in my head like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And then, da-na-na, it's between the Jets and Dolphins. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Tyreek Hill, the Chiefs? Like, what's going on? And my heart's beating. And then they're like, it's going to go down at any second. I'm like, Jesus, I don't know how to feel about this. And I'm seeing, as people are saying in the audience, about a lot of the things that he is allegedly accused of. And that's a moral compass thing in your head. You're like, oh, my God, those are some awful alleged things. But to me, again, I'm a simple man. I'm the green team. And if a guy's playing for us, he's on my team. And when he's not playing against us, I hate him. I hate his guts. Hey, screw you, buddy. It's my team, and I want to win games by any means necessary. My fantasy football team, that same question's asked. We have someone in our fantasy football league who does not put players on his team that he, like, if they've done something allegedly questionable, he won't draft them. He won't add them at any point. He will do it. And, hey, for those, the gates for heaven are going to be wide open for you. For me, I want to win, and I want to win at any means necessary. And sometimes that's going to be perceived a certain way. So, there's a lot of things that people, to me, here's how I put it. What I just said does not have to be every Boy Green Coffee Club member. It doesn't have to be every Wudi, woo woo member. I don't know if you've got members yet, Wudi, but whatever they're called. Okay. Is the fact of the matter is you guys can root how you want to root. And that's what I hope is the cool thing about my show is like I say things, you people could say things. We can all have different opinions. We can coexist together. We all don't have to be yes men and all believe exactly the same things. That's the beauty of the planet Earth. We can all have different opinions. So that's sort of where I'm at on it. And that's it. But again, an interesting question as we're talking about all this. So to the Tyreek Hill thing, sure. If you want to play for my team, the reason why I don't think that we don't have any clear quarterback. So he's like, who the hell's throwing me the ball?
Yeah.
I'm asking the same thing for Garrett. So I just don't think it's going to happen. Like Mike Evans, if we had a better situation, Mike Evans may want to be here. And Mike Evans to learn from Garrett the same way he got a chance to learn from Devontae, I find incredibly invaluable. I just don't think they're going to come here. So that's it on Tyreek. It's nothing personal, but he's someone I'd throw out there. And then another cut candidate is Calvin Ridley. I'm not sure how I feel about him, to be honest, but he's another one that's in the universe.
Hell no.
Please. Okay.
Hell no. I was a huge Ridley fan.
Okay.
Pre-suspension, post-suspension. Okay. This year, I drafted him in every league, thinking that he was about to be a stud for the Titans.
Okay.
Now it's for me. It's a personal vendetta after this year.
Oh Jesus! Okay.
like every league, I was like, oh, he's still here in the 6th round. Let me get this dude. By
the way, I definitely drafted him last year and thought he was like going to be the greatest thing of all time. So I feel you. I thought Cam Ward. Ooh, he's got to throw to somebody.
He's got to throw to somebody, and I don't know. I still don't know who he was throwing to. But no, I mean, of the names that we've said, like Wandell gets open, but like the thing about those is that like a Wandell, a Romeo Dobbs, those would probably be long term because they're so young. Like they're looking for a long deal. So now we're saying, okay, that's the duo is those guys and Garrett. Whereas I don't want that to be the duo. Actually, I want that Jeremiah Smith. I want like a somebody who would be on their rookie deal while Garrett is still on his extension. So if you're thinking that way of like, let's just get somebody so the team doesn't stink right now. Next year we about to have like one of the greatest duos in the league. Then you start thinking about someone like a Kendrick Bourne, who was definitely a beneficiary of the Shanahan tree.
That's Jason Bourne.
Someone said Juju. I'm good on Juju. Like someone they said it. They said it.
That's some bad juju. No, thank you. I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
Here's this, Wudi.
Okay.
ESPN has a list of wide receivers that could be traded this offseason.
Okay.
There's a list. I'm going to throw them at you. I'll go one by one, and you just sort of give me a yay, nay, or hell no, or whatever you feel. So feel free to jump on this list from ESPN's Bill Barnwell. A.J. Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I literally knew that was the first name you were going to say.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do believe he's going to be a Patriot, and it's going to be the worst.
Disgusting.
I mean, you if you haven't heard it before, then you heard it here first. It's another one where in real time you're like, Wudi, why don't you go root for them? And then like it happens, and then so that stinks. I'm really upset about that.
Well, here's another bad one. I've heard rumors the Buffalo Bills would be all over AJ Brown. So him catch a pass from Josh Allen, oh boy.
Yeah, but no, like Vrabel, they have a great relationship.
No, of course.
Like mutually, yeah.
No, that could definitely happen. By the way, I'm with you. Maybe I'm not with you. I don't know what your opinion was of it, of what you think is going to happen. I just don't want any part of it. He seems like a real drama queen. He seems super talented. I can't deny that. He's an incredibly physical wide receiver. And he pushes people around, and he's got an intensity about him, which is cool. But to me, if you're talking about old battle scars, he was with Elijah Moore when he got drafted, former Ole Miss teammates. And I think he was whispering in Elijah Moore's ear all kinds of bullshit about, I don't know about that Jet situation. And he's like, you know what? You're right. And I think he caused all kinds of drama. It's speculative. We don't have anything on tape. I didn't have a recorder at his house. But I don't know, man. I don't want any part of that drama. It would be wildly expensive contractually and asset-wise. And I don't know of where we're at right now in our lack of court. If he was complaining about his Super Bowl MVP not getting him the ball, whoa, buddy, let me introduce you to our Jets quarterback room this year. So, yeah, for those reasons on A.J. Brown, no thank you. But,
I think you said it pretty well. He's a fantastic talent. I literally think he's top 6 in the league. Like, he is incredible. But for what we can offer right now, like, come on now, that's like dynamite and gasoline. Like, we
definitely.
not, we don't have the infrastructure.
All right, I'm going to keep throwing some other names. Some of these again can be likely or unlikely. It's just ESPN's list. Keon Coleman of the Buffalo Bills.
Hell no, he's not good. He's not good.
Yeah.
But he would torch Buffalo for 2 games.
That's true. Very true. The revenge factor.
Yeah. But no, he can't create separation.
Right.
Great, size, great size, but he can't create separation.
And I hate the inconsistency. He makes one-handed catches, then he drops a slant. That stuff annoys me. And beyond all that, this bastard was like late to meetings all season long. And people were like, I don't even understand it happening once because, again, I was raised in a military family and time is so important. To be early is to be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable. Like, my dad beat that into me for my entire life. So for it to happen once is unacceptable. And then for it to happen like time and time, dude, you were a borderline first rounder. It's like the first pick of the second round. And your team needed you. You're playing with an MVP quarterback. Like, you have no reason to be displaying this kind of behavior. So hell no. And I don't know if the Bills will trade him inside the division anyway. And he's going to go for a bag of beans. Like, maybe he goes to like a really good team and, he changes his life around. Hey, this is, I'm sure Keon Coleman hopes this happens. Chris Carter, right? Things are going all shitty in Philadelphia. And they were, hey, dude, you're just fucking around too much. We're moving on, man. And he was so shell-shocked, like, you're moving on from me, Chris Carter? And he ends up with that 98 Vikings team with Randy Moss and Culpepper and, oh, Lordy. I mean, damn. And if I'm Chris Carter, I'm thanking the Eagles for the rest of my life. Thank you for giving me that wake-up call apparently I needed. So I'm sure Keon Coleman hopes things go that way. But anywho, I just wanted to read the names on the list. So I don't think the Bills will trade him to us anyway. Not that I love him. I mentioned this on a previous show. Quentin Johnston of the LA Chargers. Maybe some more fantasy football stories here for Wudi.
That's actually a really nice contender for what I was just saying. Somebody who can be on the team right now. So like, you're not trash, but I definitely wouldn't want any sort of long-term commitment with.
Sure.
Huge body, unfortunately doesn't have fingers to my knowledge. Can't catch, but was decent this year.
Okay, here's another one. This is why I haven't heard this name anywhere. Xavier Legette of the Carolina Panthers.
Very interesting name. Very interesting name.
Talented kid for sure.
Yeah. Ted is down there doing some work. Or
Jalen Coker had a really nice end of the year, so he could sort of be buried.
And playoffs, yeah. I could give up like a 5th for him. I could give up a 5th and see.
Sure.
What's going on. Yeah. So I would say, yeah, I would trade. Obviously he's still on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
For right now, so you give a 5th, and you can see, if you're able to unlock something within him, let's go.
And I think it's to your point that, like, depending on the guys, we'll mention a few more names here before we wrap up the show. But like, I'm not running to extend anyone just because I traded something. Again, it depends. Every situation's case by case. But maybe I want them motivated. I trade for Quentin Johnston. Let's see what you got, young man. And he plays super motivated. Then you figure out what you want to do with him. Like Xavier Legette, like obviously he's been up and down. He's super talented. But I trade a 5th rounder in your projection that you just gave. And then and I pay him immediately. Like I want to see him in my building. How is he responding? I don't want to pay some of these guys immediately. Again, that's case by case. There may be
I wouldn't pay any of them immediately, to be honest with you.
All right, here's another one. Wicka. DJ Moore, Chicago Bears. Luther Burden was exploding at the end of the year. Roma Dunze's a freak, and DJ Moore. There was some rough patches there. You have any interest in DJ?
I feel like that's one of the best value names on this list. DJ Moore is amazing.
Talented guy.
I don't think enough people realize that he's had to play with his fair share of horrific QBs. Honestly, I can't even lie. DJ Moore would actually be, to me, is like a long-term option of
course, he could do both with his age.
Right. Of having a duo. Him and Garrett would. Oh my God, they would cook up defenses.
Like
so
that.
I would say, that's probably the best name on this list. And because of that perception of him being on this team with the Bears, like his value hasn't been lower in his life than it is right now.
Which is good news for the Jets, right?
Yeah. So that's a really very, very intriguing one. I can't lie.
Bosco said, does he actually DJ? Cannot confirm or deny, but who knows? Okay, he can start spitting it over here, that's for sure. All right.
Look at we got unanimous love in the chat for DJ Moore.
Wow, okay. I didn't expect that. So, okay. That's good.
He's a fantastic player.
This might be a more popular name. Again, I don't know what order these are in, but Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And here's the thing. Apparently, according to what was reporting in the middle of the season, the Jets and Jaguars, when we were talking Quinnen Williams trade, there was a package where Quinnen goes to Jacksonville. We get back Brian Thomas Jr. and picks. That was discussed, and it was going back and forth. But the Cowboys came in and said, nah, we're second first, rather, in terms of order. And they went boom, boom, and the Jets went, damn. All right, he's going to Dallas. How about them Cowboys? But apparently there was a trade discussion where Brian Thomas Jr. and picks came to New York in exchange for Quinnen.
Brian Thomas Jr. wouldn't be the first person to have a really good rookie year and then not do too much for the rest of his career. Yeah. So I need to see a little bit more consistency before, being like, yo, we got to jump on that. Like DJ Moore, year in and year out, was actually one of the most consistent receivers in the league.
Sure.
Until
and a nice little run there despite the quarterback play. Nice little
run. And on different teams too,
right,
like the Panthers. And then, so, I know DJ Moore, what he's about to bring. I don't know Brian Thomas Jr. I don't.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if he knows himself. That's not even like respectfully, like he's trying to figure out his own path in the league. So would be nice. I would not give up the farm for him. But, in terms of, you're going to like this name better than DJ Moore? I think DJ Moore is king of this list.
And to be honest, I miss, sometimes I feel like I've got a good pulse of the fans. I know what they want. I know what they don't like. There's a lot of BTJ hate immediately drops and everything else that's coming up in here. So, hey, excuse him. What? Okay. My apologies, folks. There's one more name on this list, but I think this is the most unrealistic name on the list because I don't think there's any chance that this team would trade him here to us. But it's on the list, so I will say it. Jalen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins. There's just, even with the new regime, that just seems incredibly unlikely. I like Waddle. Good for him. He's a talented player. And I've said that a few times because there is a lot of really talented pass catchers on this list. I just don't think it's realistic. So, to be honest, we brought up Romeo Doubs earlier for Lou B, who's asking about it. We brought him up earlier as another name on the list. He's a straight-up free agent, so the Jets will have their chance if he doesn't get tagged or anything, which that would surprise me. So I imagine he's going to hit the open market. So we did talk about him earlier, but the final name on this list is Jalen Waddle, and these are trade names. These recent names I've been talking about, they're not free agents. They could be dealt, according to ESPN. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, if he is getting traded, like you just said, why would they trade him to us? Boss Girl also brings up the point of why trade him at all, without
Of
Reed.
course.
That doesn't really make a lot of sense. And like, if you are moving on from Tua, you're gonna need somebody. You need that JSN type dude,
Sure.
for whether it's Quinn Ewers or if they bringing in someone else, you're gonna need somebody. Parker Washington is not him. So yeah, I don't think that's happening. All good. But yeah, Dobbs, of the names that was talking, Dobbs is cool. DJ Moore, that's like a franchise, and to me, that's like a franchise changing situation because now you have a real duo for however long to come, and you wouldn't need that. You wouldn't need Jeremiah Smith now like that. That would be that's a game changer.
Let me give you a random comp on that one. I don't know, like I might be speaking out of turn here, but just the teams, right? Because that would be a trade situation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back 20-ish years. That's a little far. It's like 19-ish years.
That's a lot of years.
The Jets struck a trade with the Chicago Bears for a guy named Thomas Jones. And Thomas Jones went on this insane run with the Jets after trading for him. Yes. He was the Super Bowl running back for the Bears against the Colts. They lost that Super Bowl. Thomas Jones was in that game. They traded him to the Jets, and he exploded on the scene. DJ Moore, Chicago Bears, bing, boom, bam. He could have that Thomas Jones kind of impact, which having like 1,400 yards a season. You add that kind of juice to the wide receiver room. Ooh-wee. That's not.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we all remember Thomas Jones' jet run.
Yes,
I really do think that DJ Moore and Garrett, how they would open things up for each other. I actually think they are fairly similar receivers. I think they would be keeping DC's up at night. So, and talking about that 1,000, that would just be a perennial thing.
2015, we started with Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker. We end with Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker in 2026. Come on now.
Hey, so yeah, that would be super nice. So look at that. I got an extra positive thought when
There you go. Hey, see people take a picture. Choo, 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 choo. It'll last longer. Hey, by the way, real quick, M. Vallette says Dubs probably goes to Miami. That would be the fear for your Jets fan is that they bring Malik Willis, they bring Romeo Dobbs, they've got the whole Packers thing, John Eric Sullivan, Jeff Hafley, and they just go Green Bay Packer crazy. Which I could understand if they want to link back up down there and make that happen. Wudi, crazy show, a lot of fun, and we'll go back and forth privately to see if this is sort of the structure we want to do for these episodes moving forward. This was a lot of fun, though. So, Wudi, any other wide receiver stuff you want to get off your chest before we wrap up?
After this conversation, I feel pretty solid. There are definitely upgrades in the draft. There are upgrades in free agency because I was not high on the free agency or like the other, veteran options. But as we talked about trades, we talked about free agency. We said some names that weren't even on my radar. So I'm feeling good about this room. The issue is who throwing them the ball. That's been the issue for years and years. And we don't even know the ski, we don't know anything. So unfortunately, while this was definitely a fun conversation, there are bigger conversations that need to happen in One Jets Drive to even make this, come to fruition.
That's for sure. Is that a smile on Woody's face? Is that did we just see that? Oh, there it is.
There's smiles every episode, multiple episodes, multiple times an episode. Yep.
Mental photos. There we go, baby. Well, Wudi, since we just blew up your spot there, come on now. Let's give a plug, baby. TFT.
Yes, absolutely. Take Flight Talk. I actually posted yesterday the reaction to Dookie getting signed up as a DC. So it's live reactions to news. We got this show, my favorite show, just Tuesdays and Thursdays, the epitome of the Kool-Aid and the realism of being a Jet fan. fantastic show, Boy Green Meets Wudi. And then, of course, we got the flagship Take Flight, where it's myself, Abby, who's been covering the Jets for over a decade, and then Michael K, not that Michael K, but a different one who is a college running back who knows the X's and O's. He's actively, in the college ranks. And shout out to all the people on Take Flight Talk right now. Celso, I see you out there. Come on now. Shout out to all the love that I've been receiving. It means a bunch. Please like, subscribe. Diapers aren't cheap.
Amen. By the way, Emvelette, did the snow stop yet, Beachy? No, it hasn't. I'm still buried, but thank you. Actually, our town is now in a state of emergency, and travel is not allowed. So, yes, we're sort of stuck here at the house. But thankfully, my fiance is super smart. We have this every once in a while. We could do it when they have like the free trial to do it, where Walmart could deliver to your house and just normal people apparently drop it off. You could get a free trial every once in a while for a week. And we got it in right before the travel ban happened, where I was able to shovel out a path from the street to my house. And then she did the Walmart trial thing. They gave us the essentials. Boop, boop, boop. The person jumped in the car, drove off. And then so we have enough for dinner tonight and a couple other nights. So blessed be he. So we're good for now. But again, safe love to everyone out there in the audience that are dealing with the ramifications of all this snow stuff. So again, be safe out there, everybody. And man, super fun show, Wudi. So appreciate you. And again, we should have, from everything I'm hearing, breaking news. If it didn't happen right now, I imagine if it did, it would have been yelled at in the chat. We should have our new offensive coordinator somewhere in the next 36 hours. So we'll see.
Another pile of dookie.
Could be. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on the way out. If you don't mind, hit that like button, whether you're watching live or after the fact. We really appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as well for snow updates and OC updates. We'll see which one hits you first next time. Wudi, it's been real, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate everybody. And, of course, BG, try to stay warm out there.
Peace, y'all.